That's really, really creepy. That's really creepy. For people that are just listening, he's showing a really creepy face on there. So, okay. Hello, everyone. Ooh, that music is kind of loud in my ears. Of course, everything is loud in my ears these days because my ears are full of, I don't know, gunk.
My potion of goofiness.
Hey, everybody, welcome to episode 61 of the Geek Variety Hour. I am one of the co-hosts. I'm the old guy. I'm the dad. I'm the old nerd in the group. I am Sean, and the guy on the other screen is...
And yo, everyone, it's your boy, Connor McKay, a.k.a. Quillmonster, a.k.a. K-A-A-K-K. The real brains of this group. Let's be honest. He would be nothing without me. I bring the comedy. He just makes me look pretty.
Actually, since I'm your dad, you would be nothing, literally, without me.
But
Just
this
saying,
show would be nothing
genetically
without
speaking.
me. This show would be nothing.
That's-
Would be nothing without me.
That is true. That is definitely true. I am the Abbott to your Costello. So,
Exactly.
hey guys, sorry we missed last week. I was at DragonCon, so that's why we missed last week's episode. We were going
I wish
to
I
miss.
was there.
We were going to miss this week's episode as well. However, some developments came up that we'll have to talk about in just a few minutes. If I sound a little different, that'll come into play in a few minutes as well. So,
Yes.
that's us. I'm definitely going to spend some time talking about DragonCon, and I keep trying to get over here so that you can see my new sign that I got. I've got
What did
more.
it say again? I can't tell.
It says "Speak, friend, and enter."
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, what's that from again? It does sound very familiar. It's on the tip of my tongue.
Whoa. I don't know, just a little tiny indie movie called, Lord of the Rings book, just this little indie thing, Not
I'm
many people
sorry,
know
Dad.
about it. It's kind of a niche kind of thing, but
Dad, come on. I'm sorry. Let's be honest. Until my 20s, I never really had any interest in seeing Lord of the Rings, man, because I was terrified of Gollum.
So
You
I
know,
should be doing this. I should be putting my mask on. So, just
the
universe-
Delta variant is not electronically airwave whatever transmitted. It's impossible.
And I didn't put my anti-fog on my glasses anyway. So, okay. So,
I need some of that.
Walmart, $7. Easy enough.
Okay.
So, how about we just jump in and do our stuff? Now, we may have new people listening. I don't know. We've
It
got
is very
one of
possible.
we've got
If
one
it
of
is, please.
some of our
please.
normal folks in here with us on Friday nights. But for the audio section, if folks are listening to this later, I may have some new people that came in after hearing from me at DragonCon. Hopefully that's the case. And if that's true and you haven't gone back and listened to any of our other episodes, we just hang out, talk a bunch of nerdy stuff. We review movies at random. Literally, we roll dice to determine the movie we're going to watch. You'll see that, hear about that at the end of the episode.
Hello.
We also do a Geek Question every week where we just debate some kind of nerdy topic that one of us comes up with. And then just talk whatever comes into play or chase a bunch of chickens. So, because we're both ADHD and just go all over the place. But we always start with...
fried chicken.
But we always start with kind of what's been going on with each other since the last time we talked. And it's been a little while. So tell me what's been going on with you, man.
Let's see. Video game wise, I've been playing the video game Jurassic Park Evolution practically every day because
I've noticed.
Because just okay. Do you remember the old Zoo Tycoon game?
Yeah, we've got it's on Game Pass. I mean, yeah, you can play it now if you want to.
That's the revamped version.
Okay.
I'm talking about the classic one that was on the computer disc,
Yeah.
That I played a lot.
Yeah.
This game is basically exactly like that.
Okay.
That where you can hand make the cages.
Old man shoulder.
Okay.
Ow. Go ahead.
You can hand a design the shape of the cages. Choose from different materials. Well, it's just everything about it is exactly like like the classic Zoo Tycoon, but
Mm-hmm.
at the same time,
Yeah.
it's different because it uses all the dinosaurs. And
Gotcha.
I am a
Gotcha.
huge dinosaur nerd.
Cool.
I've always loved dinosaurs.
Okay. So I'm kind of
So
looking like I've
so
got some dip going on here, but anyway, go ahead.
Skull.
Halls. Halls cough
Oh
drops.
yeah, oh yeah, that brand.
Yeah, that thing. Yeah. So anyway, go ahead.
Anyway, so it's just cool to play a pure creation game. Then that can utilize some of my dinosaur knowledge. You
Yeah,
know.
yeah. Because you
I
were all
mean,
about the dinosaurs when you were kids.
oh yeah. Let's see. Um, that's basically all I've been playing, and I recently just unlocked the. Can you guess? Can you guess? Can you guess? Can you guess?
The Velociraptor. I don't know.
I I unlocked that ages ago. No, I just unlocked the Indominus Rex.
Ah, okay, cool, cool.
So I've got three of those on one island, just just all hanging out in one pen.
Well, aren't they going to kill each other? Aren't they pretty territorial and going to kill each other? Are they all male or all female?
You can't control the gender, but
Okay.
I'm assuming the gender association in this game is similar to the original trilogy, in which Hammond basically made all of the all the dinosaurs female.
Ah, okay, cool.
That's what I think anyway. But
Yeah, yeah.
anyway, it's just a really cool game just because I know like 90% of these dinosaurs. The
Right.
Parasaurolophus, the Pachycephalosaurus, Tosasaurus, Triceratops, some Baryonyx, Suchomimus, some a Dilophosaurus, and Deinonychus. I know all these dinosaurs, and it's just cool to
I
like
know you do.
already know about these things.
You've
You know?
talked about them for ages since we were a kid. So anyway, cool.
And my all-time favorite dinosaur will always be the Parasaurolophus.
The
It just looks
what?
the
That sounds.
okay.
Hold on. Go
The
ahead.
Parasaurolophus.
Okay.
Parasaurolophus. Parasaurolophus.
Ah. Hey, I guess I can
It
save
is
some.
absolutely beautiful.
I guess I can save some resources on the computer and turn Audacity off because I forgot to hit record. Oh well.
Really, Dad?
I guess I'll download the this Twitch stream and get the audio from that. Hashtag ADHD life. So
You are so hopped up on all kinds of meds, you're forgetting stuff.
not really. I'm not on a lot of meds, and it's not the kind that makes you feel kind of loopy. It's just my head's kind of tight right now because of sinuses and everything. But that's another issue.
Then you're missing out. The loopy meds are the best. That's where you get half of your ideas from.
But this is not the kind of illness that calls for the loopy meds. Yes, the loopy meds would be cool, but I don't need the loopy meds. I don't have any loopy meds anyway.
It would make this a lot more pleasant, wouldn't it?
Yeah. It might not. It might mean that we don't make it all the way through if I'm taking this. So anyway, I gotta keep moving over.
See.
So I keep sliding over. So all right. Anything else going on?
As you know, me and Nikki got a bunny a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Tifa.
Yeah.
And recently she's been getting a bit more adventurous in her play area to the point of where she's been jumping from the floor up onto the daybed.
Okay.
At first she would only do it when Nikki was up there, you know, and kind of hang out with her.
Yeah.
But then eventually she got to the point where she could just jump up there whenever she wanted.
Right.
And I know this because when I first got home and let her out, I went to go take a shower. Or came back. Actually, she was just sitting on the daybed, her little paws on the end frame, just kind of sniffing at me, and I'm like,
right.
Oh, okay then. And it kind of surprised me.
Right.
And so we realized that's kind of dangerous because that's basically a free exit for her outside of her play area, or
right.
And that could be dangerous for her and for our security deposit.
Right.
And so we first tried moving our bolster, which is basically this extra long pillow we use as a back support when we're on the day bed.
Right.
And so we use that and basically pulled it up to the very edge of of the daybed to create like an extra wall.
Mm-hmm.
And for a bit that kind of stopped her she would basically jump up and wall run on it for a bit, which actually was very entertaining to watch. She
I
was
bet
like
it
a
was.
little ninja.
I bet it was.
She like hop up and like skitter across it. It was like she was a ninja. It was awesome. But then eventually she basically leapt up and got her paws in and clawed in a bit and then climbed up the rest of the way over it. So now we pushed it back a little bit and put tinfoil along the edge of the bed to kind of act as an extra deterrent. And so far that has been a very good deterrent because
Life
as I say this, she is hopping up.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
You sure you don't need to name her Houdini?
No. That's Coco's title.
Yeah, that's true.
That's Coco's title.
That's true. So,
well, speaking of which, how is she?
it's fine.
Okay.
Just fine. I mean, just Coco being Coco.
I miss that dog.
So I'm trying to think. You know, I mean, obviously the big thing that happened since last time we talked was DragonCon, and I mean, you know,
I'm so jelly. I am like so jelly that you got to go to DragonCon.
I told people all weekend that I was there, and I did really feel this way, that I felt like Ricky Bobby. You know, it's like I don't know what to do with my hands because I didn't know what to do at DragonCon because you weren't there. Because we've always done DragonCon together, and we've all and your mom even asked. She said, "But you guys don't do stuff together." I'm like, "Yeah, but we're always there, and we're texting back and forth about stuff that we've seen or that we're doing, and we get back together to have a drink or get something to eat or go to a panel together." I said, "But there was none of that. So it's just and we usually cosplay together, and so it's like I didn't know what to do." It was great in that I basically got to hang out with the podcasting folks that I've gotten to know, some of which weren't able to make it because of the COVID stuff. But folks that I've talked to on the Discords, but actually met and hang out with them and went to the botched barbecue and so
barbecue.
Really, yeah, for their Patreon subscribers, they have a barbecue for their Patreon subscribers, and so Thursday night I went and hung out with all the botched crew and all the Patreons, and we had a good time. So, anyway, so it was great to hang out with all of them and get to know them better. I got to be on a couple of panels. I thought those went pretty well. Got some cool stuff. Got that sign there. I've got a couple other prints that I want to hang. I just don't have room to put them anywhere yet. I got one that is like the cast of Monty Python, but they're in a lineup like from Usual Suspects. It's kind of funny looking. And then I got another one that's like
you showed me that one.
It's like an artsy, kind of not dark, but just a really cool Iron Giant print. It's got the Iron Giant, and he's got like moss and stuff hanging off of him, and the little boys in the foreground, and then there's deer off in the, it's just really cool. It's a cool print. It got you some stuff too.
I love that movie.
Got you some cool stuff.
That movie. It should have done a lot better it should have done a lot better at the box office than it originally did.
Yeah, I know.
Man.
So that's so.
I still cry at that movie.
Yeah. So anyway,
you were saying.
So this is a really good print.
You got me some stuff.
Well, I mean, I've already shown you the stuff that I got you. I got you just some stuff to
have
in your
talk
program.
about it.
People will see it when I ship it to you. It'll be part of your podcast backdrop. But anyway.
Okay.
So got you that. Got me some stuff. Got COVID, by the way. So
wait, whoa. Take a step back. What'd you say?
So here's the deal. DragonCon did everything right. They limited ticket sales. They restricted or ceased single-day sales because they tried to cut down the amount of the crowd, and it was definitely not as crowded this year. You had to mask mandates inside all the time, unless you're eating or drinking. You had to have your mask on at all times. no exceptions. And folks at DragonCon, I mean, the folks there were super good about being compliant with it. You know, didn't have anybody that was like, no, I'm not going to do it. And people just did it because it's like, hey, we got to come to DragonCon. We'll be more than willing to wear a mask to get to come to DragonCon. Yeah. And you had to show proof of full vaccination or proof of a negative test within 72 hours of the con to even get to go. They wouldn't give you, even if you had paid for your badge, if you couldn't show that, they wouldn't give you your badge. So that cut down on some of the people too. So they did everything right. I got it anyway.
But how? That's what I want to know.
There's 42,000 people there. Come on.
Yeah, but if
there were people that were probably there that had gotten vaccinated, but see, even if you've been vaccinated with the Delta variant, you can still get the Delta variant if you've been fully vaccinated. Odds are lower and the symptoms are less, but it can still happen. And so there's probably some people there, and I got it from them.
Is this ever going to end?
It's kind of, I don't know. It may become the new flu vaccine every year. I don't know. I am due for a booster shot, but not till next month. So I'm like right at the end. So my defenses have kind of gone down a little bit, and so I just got it at some point in the crowds of 42,000 people. Unfortunately, and so I started feeling symptoms late Sunday night. Like right during the bot show, at the end of the bot show, I'm like, this feels kind of like the con crud. Everybody talks about the con crud. Felt like the con crud, just a head cold.
I caught the con crud the last time I was there.
Right. Took medicine for it, and it didn't do anything to it. And I'm like, that's not a good sign. So Monday morning, we had one more panel. We were kind of wrapping up the show. I sat clear on the other side of the room from everybody. I mean, I was sitting way away from everybody with my mask on the whole time. Pretty much said bye to everybody and zipped out and got out there as quick as I could. Came home Monday, got tested Tuesday morning, tested positive for COVID, and then let everybody in Discord know, and they've been getting tested. And nobody else has got it. From what we've been able to tell, I'm the only one out of our podcasting group. So I'm so thankful that it didn't spread through, from me to anybody else. But I think it's a testament to show that, hey, you know what? Vaccinations and masking works, people. There's 42,000 people there, and I was around a good 30 to 50 people all weekend. The same people all weekend, right? And I was the only one to kind of get it from somebody else, and none of them got it from me. And the Delta variant is very contagious. So it shows that masking and vaccinations work. Yeah. So I just happen to be the lucky one to get it. So anyway, there's that.
You won the prize of Delta.
Yeah. So, but the show, the con was great. It was kind of cool not being as crowded. There wasn't as much cosplaying going on. I mean, there was the cosplay, but there wasn't as many of them, and there wasn't a lot of the like outlandish, crazy, complicated cosplays because there just wasn't as many people there. But also,
But there was one cosplay that you sent me a picture of that I absolutely adored.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, I love classic sitcoms. We're talking sitcoms from like 70s to 90s. Because I just love that they're classic comedy, but it's not full of just all kinds of overly saturated and vulgar kind of stuff there is now,
Right.
And I love MASH, a classic sitcom from the 1970s and early 80s.
Right.
One of the best sitcoms I've ever seen, and it will always be in my top 5.
Mm-hmm.
So and there's a character on there named Maxwell Klinger, or Klinger for short. And he's part of the MASH unit, but he does not want to be in the army. So he's trying to get out of the army via a Section 8 report, which is basically saying this person is too crazy to be in the army. And so his whole thing throughout like 90% of the series is just him wearing women's what?
You do realize that most of the people that are listening to this are going to know what MASH is.
I know, but just
So
let me talk about it.
how about you just say that I
It, wa-
saw a
it was a
cosplay of
cosplay
Klinger.
of Maxwell Klinger in his classic like, outfit. It house coat, slippers, hairnet, whole thing. Carrying the classic mash sign, mash 4077
There you go.
sign.
There you go. As opposed to
You never let me have my moment.
it's not that. It's that okay. It's like it's look, dude. It's like when we're at your grandparents' house and your grandfather starts telling a story that we've all heard multiple times, and we all go, "Yeah, we've heard that story before." And he's like, "Yeah, okay," and he keeps talking, and he keeps telling us the story anyway, right? So it's just we're trying to be.
So
succinct.
that's where I get it from.
There you go. Yeah, there you go.
From your side of the family.
Something you probably get a lot of needless stuff from my side of the family. Oh, what's up, Steve? Man, it was so cool hanging out with you this weekend, and I'm so glad that you didn't get what I got. So anyway, so anything else? Good morning. Good morning. Well, you've been. You are.
Yes, you are. Cool to hang out with.
You have been sleeping a very long time. If it's morning to you right now.
It's like almost 9 o'clock at night.
Well, anyway, we'll move on from that. So
let's move on.
Is there anything else? I'm trying to think. If there's anything else that? Good grief, man! Did you get sick? I hope not.
The tension we must know.
So anyway, he doesn't.
Did you get the Rona from my papa?
He doesn't have to. He doesn't have to say anything if he doesn't want. No, okay, all right.
Yeah, he's all good.
Good. So
hallelujah.
So anyway, is there anything else that we need to talk? I mean, I haven't been playing much gaming, and the gaming I've been doing is
work's been sucking for me lately.
Game streaming, from the bedroom on the tablet. So, so anyway, I did pick up Expedition. I told you I was going to pick up that, and I'm trying to get that card game, so maybe we can do that on the podcast sometime. But it just seems to drag on. I haven't been able to speed it up yet, so I got to get used to it to speed it up so we can play it on the podcast. So, I mean, work. I had to cancel 2 work trips. I'm supposed to be in Florida for a retreat right now, taking care of my guys, but they're having to do it without me this time, and they're supposed to roll straight into a training camp next week. And had to cancel that too. So, because I have to.
What kind of training?
It's just we do is our HP folks. So they do the strength and conditioning coach, athletic trainer, physical therapist, and then the chaplain and I go, and we just kind of take care of the guys. They do workout. They teach them workout programs, and they do some testing with them. I do some education and some consults and some recovery breathing and teach them those kind of things. And we just do that. So, So I had to cancel those 2 trips. They were back to back because I have to isolate for 10 to 14 days. So I get to hang out in my bedroom for 10 to 14 days. So until at least next Thursday. So yay. So anyway, so that's what I'm doing. So let's just jump in and do our stuff because my head cold. Oh, by the way, as far as symptoms go for me for the COVID, it really feels like the con crud. It feels like a head cold. I got a little bit of sinus pressure, stopped up. It's generally had very minor fever at the beginning. I hadn't had fever in a day or 2. It's just like the con crud, man. But it gets worse in the evenings. And
hey, Dad.
Yes, what?
Dad, what if it was a false positive and you really do just have a heavy dose of con crud?
Oh, no. It's a specific test. And when I went in to do the rapid test, the nurse is looking at the test results, and she's like, okay, typically, and she's about 30 seconds into looking at it. She says, okay, it typically can take up to like 5 minutes to see, oh, no, you're positive. It was that clear. It took, she stopped in mid-sentence. Went, oh, no, you're positive. So that was it. There was, we didn't have to wait the 5 minutes to see. So,
all right, then.
So anyway, so it is what it is. Luckily, it's not near as severe as it was with your mom. When your mom had it, she had it pretty rough back last fall.
What about Luke? When Luke had
Luke's was worse than I am, but he wasn't as bad as Mom. Mom got it really rough.
Oh, yeah.
But the Delta variant has less, severe symptoms typically, especially if you've been vaccinated, which I had been. So.
Oh, Speaking of Luke, how much longer does he have?
He's coming home next. He's coming home He's flying home the 21st. He's almost done. We have
Man,
We have
that
bought
is
him.
awesome.
We have bought his ticket, and he's flying home September 21st. Steve, so you don't know this, but I have another son. He's 22, and he's been through hiking the Appalachian Trail. Started in March in Georgia, and he's almost done. He's in Maine. He'll be finishing up in about a week, and then flying home. So he will have done
that's freaking awesome.
The entire 2,200 miles in one shot. So, yep, there you
that
go.
that is an accomplishment.
And then he's going to come home, and he's going to get his rear end in the Air Force and go from there.
Yep.
So, that's our life. That's what's been going on with us. How about we just jump into the geek question? You want to do that? Let's do the geek question.
Yep, let's do it.
Let's do the geek question.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want them answered immediately.
Is there ever going to be a day that you're not going to repeat him?
Never. Damn. I will stop when I've perfected my Arnold Schwarzenegger impression.
There's only one Arnold, and I'm not trying to do it because I can't. So I'm just speaking. I cannot do Arnold because I can't do voices. I can't.
What's going on?
I can make up
What's
my own.
go on?
I can make up my own, but I can't do other people's voices. I just can't. So anyway, all right. So let me pull up my notes. What's the geek question? Do you remember the geek question?
Yes.
What's the geek question?
If you were stranded in the jungle and had to survive, what is the one fictional item you would take with you to survive with?
Okay, and the reason why we usually come up with all kind of weird geek questions, and sometimes we try to do one that kind of matches our movie. And since our movie is jungle, we figured why not? Well, what the heck? Why don't we do that?
We mow it. 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 Come on, Daddy, you gotta do it. We mow it. We mow it. We mow it.
I can't go up that high right now with this cold. I can't do it.
In the jungle, the lion.
You see what I have to live with, Steve? Do you see this? Do you see this? This is the life that I've had with this guy. Okay. Okay. Moving on, because you just now broke most people's stereos. Okay. So the question was, if you're lost alone in the middle of the jungle, what fictional item or items would you want to have with you to help you survive and escape? And no
one item. Just one item.
Cool. And no teleportation devices, right? Of any kind. That would be cheating.
Or replication devices. Something that can actually make something else, you know?
Yeah, that's fine. Cool. Well, I know what I want then. Because I had 3 things on here that were kind of cool, but I'll just pick the one. Go ahead. You always go first.
Let's see. From my options, I have.
No. Just tell me. Just tell me your one, and then we'll talk about what the other.
My
ones
one.
Are. Yeah. So what's your
All
one?
right. My one is a Star Trek. Is a Star Trek Federation or wait. Is just the Federation or Star Federation?
It's the United Federation of Planets. It's the Federation, but it's the United Federation of Planets.
A Federation tricorder.
Okay.
Because these things are basically walking databases of and scanners of all kinds. I mean, if I had one, I could look up the database of survival tactics.
Right.
To read weather patterns and figure out how much time I've got left before overexposure at the sun, a storm, stuff like that. A bioscanner to constantly check myself and see if I'm healthy, if I need to fix something or if I need to rest. It also has all kinds of radars which can help me find fresh water, and then also edible plants, medicinal plants, and all kinds of stuff.
Sure.
Okay. It's basically the guide of every single tool you need.
Sure.
I would still need to make all the tools, and I would still need to make the tools, start fire, make a shelter, and all that. But this would tell me how to do that.
Right. It's a great item to use, and it's a great source of information. But you're still having to walk your way out of the jungle, right? I mean, yes, The tricorder will give you help you find the right direction and keep you safe as you go. Absolutely, but you still gotta have to walk your way out of the jungle, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I swear.
Is it my turn?
Just one moment. If
Okay.
you chose an AT-AT from Star Wars, I'm gonna be pissed.
I did not.
A speeder from Star Wars.
Nope. I want Ant-Man's suit.
In a way, wouldn't that make it harder because you would be the size of an ant traveling through the jungle?
Here's the thing. One of the things that you had mentioned before when we were talking about this was the bag of holding, because you could use it for shelter, yada, all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Well, with Ant-Man's suit, I can shrink down and crawl up under anything I need for shelter, because I'm so small. Anything can be shelter for me at that point, right? I also have the super strength, right?
You would still have your strength. It would just be the size of an ant.
Right,
so,
but then I could ride an ant. I could ride one of the flying ants and just kind of fly my way out of there. So I have plenty of ways to use that suit to get out of there, right? So the thing is, I would use that for shelter, for strength, for protection, and for finding my transportation out of there. That's what I would use. I wouldn't need.
I feel like that's kind of cheating because
How?
Because
cheating?
it's not one item. It's the suit of all kinds of components that give you all these abilities.
But it's one thing. It's one thing. Let Tifa run free. Let the bunny run free.
If I let Tifa run free, she's gonna tear up our carpet.
Hashtag free Tifa. So anyway,
hashtag Team Connor. Steve, come on, man. Get on Team Connor.
I need to start making hashtag Team Connor shirts.
You need to find a hashtag Team Connor sound. That's to play during a perfect moment of my Connorness.
Yeah. So
I'm no one's team, not even my own.
But that's
how we all feel.
But the suit is okay. Then you could say the same thing about the tricorder because it does so many different things. But it's all in one. It's all in one unit. That does. It's basically one disc in one component. And but your thing, you've got additional gadgets, extra pin particle cartridges, the mask, the actual suit. It's all these separate things, all wrapped up into one thing. They basically just do one thing: get big or small. That's it. That's really all it does.
You could then also use those little discs and throw it at a food item and make it bigger to last you longer, or make it smaller to transport easier.
But I'm not talking about the disc. I'm just talking about the suit. See, those are separate things. You're right. Those are separate things, but I'm not talking about those things. Just the suit.
Or you can make yourself bigger and basically travel a single mile in a single step.
I'm still walking out, aren't I?
But it's not fair.
And I'm not teleporting, am I?
I'm over here slaving away, trying to make fire in the freaking rainforest, and you're just sauntering out like it's a Sunday stroll.
That was your choice. Live with the consequences of your choices, man. That was your choice. I just chose better.
Oh, Dad, tell
what?
Tell them what your first idea was.
I don't remember what my first idea was.
The Jack Sparrow's compass?
Oh, yeah, I thought about Jack Sparrow's compass. Yeah, but another one that I thought of was the mask.
The mask I would have accepted because it is a single item, but it just gives you a bunch of powers.
I can just turn anything into a cartoon boat and go down the river. Woo! Yeah. So yeah, I mean that was my second one, and then the last one was just
call up Acme.
The last one was a Hattori Hanzo sword.
Okay, why that? That's basically a sword. It's just what it
right. Okay, like I was saying, because initially we were talking about item or items. We decided to go with just one, but if we were going with multiple ones, I would have probably chosen the mask and the sword, or the Ant-Man suit and the sword, just to have something for protection. And hey, it's the sharpest blade made, so it'll definitely chop those trees better than that stinking machete they had in the movie, right? So I'm just thinking, hey, that was my one practical item. If you could call a Hattori Hanzo sword practical, maybe. It's a blade. It's a real thing. So anyway, so that's my answer. The Ant-Man suit. Honorable mention to the mask.
Yes.
So what
Oh,
what
man,
were
I love
so
that
what were
movie.
so what were your other ones? You mentioned, and you mentioned to me the bag of holding, right?
Yep.
And what else?
Because the biggest thing about it, the bag of holding is perfect shelter.
Yeah.
It can open up almost infinitely, and as long as the lid is open, you'll constantly get in oxygen.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
And it can't get wet. It can't be burned. It can't be ripped, torn, anything.
Yeah, but in the rainy season, wouldn't it be kind of dangerous to open up the bag of holding so you could breathe in the rainy season? Because then all that water just kind of goes into the bag with you.
Well, think about it. Well, think about it. Essentially, I just need it opened up enough. I can set it on its side so the rain doesn't come in, and the air is coming in this way, and not this way.
Yeah.
Hey, and then my other item would have been the Friday glasses.
Tell me about those again.
In Far From Home, the most recent Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
The Friday glasses is basically something Tony left for Peter, and it basically has all the stuff his suits would do with Friday and all these readouts and everything, and getting all this information just inside these glasses.
Right.
And so basically they would have all the same information as the tricorder. They would just be on my face, and I would have a sexy Irish woman talking to me.
So wouldn't that just be redundant to have the tricorder and the Friday's glasses?
That's
other than the Irish voice.
That's why I said it's a list of options, and I would take one option.
Right. Well, I think the Ant-Man suit wins on that one. Sorry. I think the Ant-Man beats the tricorder.
But Dad, real quick.
Yes.
You have you have the Ant-Man suit, but do you know how to hunt? Do you know how to forage? Can you tell?
No, I'll get my ant people to get me something.
They get what they're told to get. If you don't know what plants are edible or poisonous, or what water is good or not, they're basically just they could be bringing you poison water that could give you Montezuma's revenge.
Sure, but that's the risk I'm going to take. Or I can just get to turn into be a giant and walk out in about 10 minutes.
I still feel like that's a cop out.
Be out by lunchtime.
Shut up.
Have a nice charcuterie board and a nice cerveza on the side. Yeah. Meanwhile, you're in there with your tricorder going, "Ooh, I found something."
Shut up.
You would think, right, Steve?
Montezuma will never get his revenge. His revenge is eternal.
Okay. So
I should know. I've gotten it.
So that's that. So I win. I say I win. Okay. You won that, but I won the debate question, the geek question.
Jeez, that snuck up on me.
Okay. So let's talk about this movie, because I kind of like this movie. I don't have a lot to say about it, but I like the movie. All right. So let me make sure I hit the right button this time, because last time I hit the wrong button. So let's see if I get the right button this time. Hey, I did. Time for roll for credits. As I start to cough. So, last time. Go ahead, finish it up.
No, I'm done.
I don't think this is that kind of a movie. I don't think this is a dancing through the forest kind of movie.
In the beginning, it was.
In the beginning, it was kind of trippy hippie stuff. But anyway, so So look, last time we rolled.
Steve wants me to sing the whole song. Should I sing the whole song?
Go ahead, man. It's on you. Go ahead.
Okay, but if
that's
if I
not
sing
part of
whole
the song.
No, but if I sing the song, you need to do you need to do who the Awima West. Come on.
You go. Just go.
Okay. Start the Awima West.
Awima way, 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 Awima way.
Jungle, the jungle.
There, I got you started.
Lion sleeps tonight. In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight.
I'm gonna let you do the singing because I can't sing right now, not with this throat and this. Anyway,
I love that song.
So, okay, that was like a I don't know what kind of chicken that was, but that was definitely chicken.
But
yes,
I still think Nathan Lane did it better. I still think Nathan Lane did it better.
You think? He's kind of a Broadway singer, Broadway actor. Yeah, I could imagine he probably sang it better than we do. Absolutely. I think it's a safe assumption. So anyway, last time, as I was trying to say, we rolled.
That is also true, Stevie. He was getting paid.
We rolled for this movie, and we rolled for, it was Amazon, right? And then it
Amazon.
was, what, action? Was it action? Was it thriller? What was, I don't forget what category.
Action.
And then Jungle. I had never heard of this movie before. It's got Daniel Radcliffe. What?
Do you see the coincidence in rolling for Amazon and the movie we rolled for is Jungle?
Jungle. Just now thought about that. Very good. So
how did you just now think about that?
Because you just told me.
But what is the Amazon? It's the world's most famous rainforest.
I know that. I just didn't think. I didn't make that connection. You did, so you're swifter than me. So, anyway,
I am 30 years younger.
It stars, Daniel Radcliffe, Harry Potter. But I had never heard of this movie before, and I'm like, okay. And the tagline is like, a group of friends join a guide for a trek into the Bolivian jungle, searching for an Indian village. The men soon realized that the jungle is a difficult place to be, and it couldn't get more vague. I remember talking about that. And so, but then I start watching the movie and find out it's a true story, and then I was hooked because I like movies that are based on true stories. So it was long. It's 2 hours long. I thought it was longer than it needed to be, but it was
I thought it was perfect length.
It was really it was a drama. And it was a, survival.
That's what we rolled for. It was drama, not action.
Was it? You sure?
Yeah.
Because that surprised me because I was expecting more of an action kind of movie and it turned into a drama. So I thought we'd rolled for action and got the drama in the movie. Anyway, so here's the premise of the movie. It's 1981, I think, somewhere around in there, early 80s,
yeah.
80, 81.
Oh, yeah.
And Radcliffe plays this guy named Yossi Ghinsberg. Is it Ghinsberg? Ginsberg. Yossi Ghinsberg. And Yossi actually wrote the story as well. Wrote the script, wrote the book, because it's about him. Anyway, so Yossi Ghinsberg, he's was in the Israeli army for 3 or 4 years, and he got out of the army and he decided he wanted to travel the world and left. And his dad wanted to go to law school and he wanted to travel, so he traveled and he ended up in Bolivia. Ended up meeting up some other guys down there, and they got to be good friends.
Wait. Question.
Yes.
You said Yossi was in the army, correct?
I think he said he was. I think somewhere he said he was in the army for 3 years. After he got out of the army for 3 years.
So then wouldn't he have gotten some type of survival training?
If he was in for just 3 years, probably not survival training. That's more like special operations type stuff. If you because
they wouldn't have gotten that stuff in like basic or something.
No.
Oh.
And look, I mean, and my understanding is, and I could be wrong, but my understanding is that everyone has to serve in the Israeli army. all men have to do like a 3-year stint in the army in Israel. As a matter of fact, I think women have to as well somehow, because Gal Gadot, she was in the Israeli army before she became Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman, Gal Gadot.
She's she's Israeli?
There you go. Steve's got it. 2 years for all people, men and women in the IDF, I believe. So there you go. Israeli Defense Force.
I did not know that.
So he probably did his 2-year stint and just did basic training and did some kind of job. He clearly was not like, special operations where he had to get survival training. But he was a hiker. So he decided to go down. He ended up in Bolivia, met some guy from Norwegian, Switzerland, Sweden, something like that.
Sweden.
And an American dude. They got to be kind of good friends, and they'd done some hiking, and they were kind of hanging out in some kind of like tent commune kind of place for a while. And then Yossi met some guy. Sounded like he was German. He sounded German or Austrian or something. Carl.
I'm German, and he was German.
And Carl said that he was some kind of geologist or something, and he was talking to him about tribes, Indian tribes out in the jungle, and he was going to take him out for a trek out into the jungle and find these tribes and yada, yada, yada. And Yossi was enamored by this whole story.
Yeah.
Marcus and what was the other guy's name?
That and gold.
Huh? Yeah, and gold. He also promised gold. So anyway,
paying for gold, It was Yossi, Marcus, Carl, and then Kevin.
Kevin was the one. Kevin's the American. So Kevin and Marcus were like, man, this guy sounds kind of. No, he doesn't sound. No, this sounds kind of creepy. We're just not.
He doesn't sound legit.
So, but Yossi talked him into it, and then they traipse off into the Bolivian jungle together, the 4 of them, and that's when stuff starts happening, right? And then it becomes
here's
an issue of survival. The rest of the movie is just trying to survive and to get the way out. Go ahead.
Here's where I got confused in the story.
Okay.
Carl said they could find this tribe of quote unquote lost Indians, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they found a tribe of Indians just in the middle of the jungle. So wasn't that them?
No. He was talking about a tribe of Indians that are like still wearing their loincloths and stuff out, primitive.
Okay.
Not just people living out in the jungle. No, he's talking about like a lost tribe of Indians way out deep in the jungle. That's what he was talking about. And that's what Yossi was enamored with, that idea of seeing the unexplored world, I think was what they talked about. So it starts out, they're kind of having this kind of nice hike. They're meeting other hikers, and kind of hang out in this commune. Yossi meets some girl, and they kind of do some kind of mushrooms or something together. And so it's like, oh, there's going to be a love interest there. And then the 4 of them will leave to go to the jungle, and that was the last you saw of her.
Yeah. You actually did see her again in one of his dream sequences.
Well, yeah, but I mean a dream sequence, not in real, life.
Yeah.
And so it starts out okay. They're kind of going through and they're enjoying the thing. They're getting a little. Then they start getting a little inconvenienced. They're like, oh, they're clearly not like really want to do this. They want to do the hiking thing, but not the hiking thing. They're having to go through and machete through things, and they're getting eaten alive by bugs, and
they almost lose Carl.
They almost lose Carl at one point, or Carl almost loses them because he just goes on ahead of them. Marcus is getting kind of skittish. Marcus is getting really skittish, and he's like, kind of not wanting to be there and not enjoying himself. And they accuse him of that, and he's like, no, I am. But he was really defensive. He started getting really dependent on Carl. He was calling Carl Papa, which was kind of weird.
That's like a joke.
It started out as a joke. Started out as a joke, but then he was kind of like, leaning into that a little bit. Like he was really reliant and hooking up and dependent on. Hey, so
what's up?
So anyway, it was got that relationship between he and Carl was getting like ultra dependent. He was getting really dependent on Carl for survival. Yeah. And his feet were terrible. He was not taking care of his feet. He was getting trench foot.
It was like trench foot, right?
He was getting trench foot. And so he could hardly climb. He could hardly hike. They were having to carry his gear. And, they weren't finding these. They found some gold apparently. but then they couldn't find where they were going or weren't there yet, and Marcus just had it. He couldn't go any further, and so they had to make a decision. Do we turn around and go back? Do some of us keep going and Marcus turns back? What are we going to do here? And Kevin, who's from, I think, was originally from like Colorado or somewhere in that area, so he'd done like
I think so, yeah.
whitewater rafting and stuff. He's like, well, we're right here on the water.
One second.
Yeah, that's fine. You go ahead. I'll keep talking. You go take care of the bunny. So, Kevin had done whitewater rafting before. So he's like, hey, we're here on the water. Why don't we just build a raft and go down the Sorry, we're having a bunny emergency on the other end of the screen. So, anyway, so they decided to do that, and and Carl is like, no, we just need to keep hiking. We need to keep hiking. And but the rest of them say, no, we're going to vote, and they vote 3-1. Let's build a raft. So they build a raft. They start going down the river, and they almost capsize a couple of times. It gets really rough with some rapids, but they make it through and pull off. And Carl's like, that's it. I'm not doing any more. I'm not doing any more rafting at all. And I'm just going to hike back out. And so they camp that night. And then, sorry, I'm completely distracted by what's going on the other screen right now. So they camp that night. And they're going to go the next day, but the next day, Carl gets up and says, nope, I'm hiking out of here. It's a 3-day hike to some little village, and then we can get out from there. So I'm leaving. Y'all can take the thing if you want to. I'm not getting back on that thing.
Love you.
And I love you too.
Not you, Dad.
So
I'm talking to her, the beautiful girl back there.
So anyway, so they get to that point, and Kevin's like, I don't think Carl can swim. I think that's why he's so scared.
Yeah.
So Kevin's like, I'm not getting back on the raft with Marcus. Marcus has got to go. He can't walk. He's got to go. I'm not getting on the raft with him, and I'm not going back with Carl because I don't like Carl. And Yossi wants to go with Kevin on the raft. They got to figure out what to do with Marcus. So Yossi goes and talks to Marcus, and Marcus agrees to go hike back with Carl. So they separate at that point. And it's 2-on-2, right?
Yeah.
Marcus and Carl are hiking off for their 3-day hike to some town. And said, we'll be there in 3 days, and we'll be there waiting on you guys when you get there, if you make it. And Kevin and Yossi decide to get on the raft and go. But there's some significant rapids they've got to go through. You know, if you hit the rapids, you're going to die. So you better get off before you get on there. So that happens. And what do you think happens? Did they get off the water before they hit the rapids?
No.
No. And the boat smashes. They get separated in the water, and then it's just most of the rest of the movie is Yossi by himself trying to make it through the jungle.
Mm-hmm.
And he's in the jungle for 17 days by himself.
Yeah.
Luckily, he found his backpack floating down the stream, so he had some stuff with him.
Oh, yeah.
But most of the rest of the movie is Yossi trying to survive and watching the deterioration of his body and the deterioration of his brain as he's trying to survive for those 17 days. He starts seeing things, he starts seeing people and talking to people and all this stuff. And it just becomes a tale of survival. Now, meanwhile, Kevin hopped on a piece of wood and made it through the rapids, and some village found him downstream days later. And then Kevin was spending days trying to find his way back up to find Yossi because he's like, I know he's still alive. So you saw some cuts to him trying to help him, find Yossi, but most of it's just Yossi trying to survive. And it was painful to watch. It was painful to watch because in the movie, Daniel Radcliffe gets like Matthew McConaughey in Dallas Buyers Club thin, and Christian Bale in The Machinist thin. I mean, he gets super thin. And I read some trivia about this movie. He did lose tons of weight. He ate a piece of chicken and one chicken breast and one other thing and a protein bar every day. That's all he ate for weeks to lose his weight. 1 chicken breast, and 1 protein bar. That was all he ate every day. He says he filled the rest of his time with coffee and cigarettes to make it through.
Daniel Radcliffe did?
Yeah, so he literally
Dang.
lost all that weight. So that image you saw of him at the very end of the movie is really him, probably about 60 pounds lighter than he normally is.
Oh, god dang.
It was rough. So, you see him go through dealing with snakes and dealing with ants and dealing with, he gets trench foot and having to try to heal his feet and having to survive falls and almost drowning and the raining
There's
season.
one fall I think was kind of over exaggerated.
Which one?
When he was climbing the tree and saw that snake, he fell and he was falling back first, but then somehow he did basically a superhero landing.
He did do a superhero landing. That's exactly what that was a superhero landing.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's like,
well, see, what you missed was what they cut out in the editing was it's on the cutting room floor. You missed the backflip with the somersault, the twist that he did to get this. You missed all that. They just cut that out. But yeah, I thought that was kind of unrealistic too. He's falling backwards, but then lands like a super. Yeah. That was cut. But it's editing. What do you expect? It's a movie.
And then also, I don't care how delirious out of your mind you are, if you see a snake in a tree fall, you're not going to then climb back up the same tree, grab the snake and toss it out and proceed to fall and beat it to death with a rock.
If you're starving and the snake,
he didn't do it for food though. He did it just because he was like, I'm a man of action.
Yeah, but you didn't let me finish. If you're starving and there's a snake between you and the food you're trying to get to, you'll do whatever you have to do. Because he was trying to get to that fruit that was in the tree. That's why he was climbing the tree. And the snake was in between. So he climbed back up there, got the snake, dumped down, and bashed the thing to death, and then got his fruit. That's why he did it. Yeah. He wasn't killing the snake just because, hey, I can kill a snake. It's like, you're between me and my food. You got to go.
But still.
So, and here's the thing. So the movie it almost felt like two different movies to me. It started out with like, okay, the action stuff and the hiking stuff at the beginning, and then the survival stuff with him felt like a separate movie to me. It almost felt like two different movies that they pieced together. So that's why it felt kind of too long for me, because it was 2 hours long. They probably could have made it about an hour and 40 minutes and made it a little bit more of a tighter directed movie. But it was good. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. I wouldn't mind watching it again with your mom, because it's very drama-ish, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
But here's some other things. Let's see if I can find it on here. If I put it on here, okay. Even though it's 2 hours long, they still didn't put everything that happened to him in the movie, because he wrote the book of stuff that really happened to him. Here's some other things that happened to him during those 17 days.
The real Yossi?
Yeah.
Okay.
He woke up covered in leeches once.
Oh yeah.
He woke up to find a swarm of termites eating patches of his skin where he'd urinated on himself.
Oh gosh.
Too. Oh, and here's the best one. He slipped down a slope and impaled his rectum on a broken stick.
He pogoed himself, basically.
Yep. In the midst of that 17 days survival that he had to go through. Yes.
This room feels unclean.
Well, look who's here. So, I mean, that's
okay. Real quick, what was that thing he pulled out of his forehead in the movie?
It was like a parasite. It was like no, it wasn't a leech, because the leech attaches to your skin. It was a worm that almost like a gadfly kind of thing. That they burrow into the skin and they become these big, thick worms that are in your skin. You have to cut. So something had gotten in there, and it may have been some kind of tapeworm, some kind of parasitic worm that had bored down into his skin, and so at one point he had to cut his forehead open and pull this worm that literally was about
gush all the bad stuff out.
Yeah,
too.
It was about that long. And so I think that really happened. The funny thing was that after that scene where he gashed his forehead open to take that out, the cut was never there the rest of the movie. The cut was gone the rest of the movie. It healed super fast. Or
it was just covered up by his hair because to be fair, I never even seen the bump because his hair was constantly covering it until he had intentionally uncovered it.
Yeah.
You know?
So, I thought the acting was really good in the movie. I really enjoyed all the
Daniel
actors.
Radcliffe is amazing.
I really enjoyed all the acting in the movie. I thought they all played their characters pretty well. I mean, the American guy played a typical American kind of attitude guy. But the thing that built the tension in me the most was at the very end when Kevin is coming upstream, to look for Yossi. And, Yossi has been on that shore on the bank, and he gets 3 logs, and he makes a Y. So that hopefully a plane will see a Y and, hey, Yossi's right here. And Kevin and the guide pull up in the boat on that beach. Kevin is actually kicking the logs that have the Y, doesn't even recognize that it's a Y, sees nothing, and there's no way they can't go any further upstream. So they're leaving, and he's about to go around the bend, and I'm sitting there screaming because there's Yossi laying right there, but he is so thin and he is so dirty, they can't tell him from the rocks and the dirt. That's how bad he was. And Yossi's kind of almost out cold when they're there. So he hears them, and he's calling out to Kevin, and he stands up, this thin, frail thing.
He's like weakly calling out, like, Kevin.
And of course, he's not calling loud enough to where you can hear. And then the boat's about to turn the bend when Kevin sees him and comes back, and they get him. And I'm sure that was dramatic. I'm sure it wasn't like that in real life. But I'm sitting there going, Kevin, you need to turn around. You need to turn around and get him. So, if it's a really good movie, guys. I mean, look,
it really is.
We've told people, and for folks that are in here for the first time, we tell people all the time, we don't review movies. We don't know how to do that. We just talk about it. I mean, we don't sit there and break down scene by scene and what the underlying meaning is. We're not that smart. We just talk about movies and what we liked and didn't like about it.
Maybe you aren't.
Well, call a spade, I guess, right?
I'm just kidding, Dad. Dad, you're smart.
The acting was really good. I thought that the scenery was, when you could see scenery, because you're in the jungle, you didn't see much but just jungle. But when you did get to see some of the landscape, when they would have aerial shots, it was beautiful. I thought Daniel Radcliffe did a great job of just the despair mixed with the will to survive.
Yeah.
I mean, the things that he did to try to survive, and the things that he fought through to survive. 17 days in a jungle by himself, really with nothing. I mean, he had stuff in a pack, but it wasn't really like survival gear. So I wish that they had done that. I wish they had shown a little bit more about what he actually did to survive. They just showed him walking, ate a couple of eggs. That he found. Yeah, I'm not going to go into that because it was pretty gross. So, but they didn't really show a lot of what he actually did to survive. I would like to have seen a little bit more of that stuff, right?
Yeah.
But to me, I live for these kind of movies. I live for the closing credits, for the here's the true life story blurb stuff.
Yeah.
That's what I live for. And so did any of it surprise you? The true story stuff that you read, did any of it surprise you?
It surprised me that Carl actually was like a bad guy, and most likely he was some kind of serial killer and brought them out there to kill them. Well,
no, they don't know about the whole serial killer thing, but it did say
they couldn't find him. He and Marcus, after they split up, they were just gone. They were never found ever again.
They probably got killed in the jungle, dude. Duh.
But he was wanted for taking people on these so-called treks before.
He was wanted. He was wanted by the authorities. They didn't really say exactly what he was wanted for. And they said the notes even said, to this day, nobody knows why Carl took them out into the jungle. To this day, nobody knows why.
Huh.
not much is known about Carl, except that they knew that he was wanted by the authorities, but they didn't know what for. And, in the movie, he comments that he was wanted by the authorities for something. So he could have very well been on the lam, and the authorities were out to get him and trying to find him. And so he saw these three, hikers trying to convince him to go out into the woods, in the jungle, as a way to escape and have people with him. He had a gun, so now he had ready-made hostages if he needed them, right?
Yeah.
So that may have been all it was he was just trying to escape, and he saw them as an easy way to escape into the jungle and not be alone. But when they decided to split and said, hey, we're going to hike the 3 days that way to get out, and you guys take your own life in your hands and go in the river, as soon as that happened, I went, oh, those guys will live and those guys ain't going to make it. Because in real life, when Kevin and Yossi got back, they said they searched for Marcus and Carl for weeks, and no trace of them was ever found. So
I still feel that feels kind of
spoiler
weird.
alert for everybody that wanted to watch this movie, but I mean that was kind of predictable.
Zero trace,
dude. It's the Bolivian jungle. People disappear all the time. People disappear in the United States and are never found from. This is, most of the Bolivian jungle is not even charted yet. So,
that's true.
They probably were eaten at some point by someone or something.
There is one thing I was surprised about during the closing credits.
What's that? Oh, we're out of time.
That Jan. Yeah.
I didn't hit this. I didn't. I mean, do you want me to play it? It's kind of loud, but
I'll go ahead.
Okay, I'll play it. I'm kind of getting to where I don't like that. I'm kind of getting to where I just don't like that sound. It's too annoying. I want to get something a little bit more subtle and nerdy. That's just woo. That's a little much, especially for these ears right now.
Excuse me.
So, what was it you said you didn't like?
It's not that I didn't like it. It just surprised me.
What surprised you?
In the ending credits, it's that Yossi went back to that jungle, right?
Yeah.
And he basically made it his home, and it's like, okay, you survived God knows what, and lived through God knows even worse.
Yeah.
And it's like, why would you want to go back to the place of all that trauma?
No, he didn't go back there and live there. He did go back there and help build some kind of environmental commune, shelter, some kind of thing. Yes.
Yeah.
But he didn't live there. He still traveled all over the world. He still travels all over the world to this day, from what I understand. So anyway, if you like these kind of movies, these survival kind of movies, people that kind of overcome unbelievable odds, it was a really good movie. Again, I'd never heard of it before. I didn't know that Daniel Radcliffe had done this movie. All I knew him from was Harry Potter, which I don't even watch, and Swiss Army Man, right? He was Swiss Army Man, right? And Horns, right?
Oh yeah,
yeah. So
he was also Harry Potter.
That was the first thing I said. This is the very first thing I'm listening as a skill. Right, I know. Hashtag ADHD. I know, I get it. So anyway, so if you like these kind of movies, go watch it. I didn't like the fact it got like average rating of 6.9 out of 10. I thought it was a better movie than that. So
should have gotten at least an 8.
I don't know if I'd go that high, but anyway, it was okay. But, it was so funny. When they were showing pictures, this is just something about this Carl guy. When they were showing, like, real-life pictures of all of them, all of them out there doing their hiking on, they had one picture of that Carl guy. It was the only picture that they could find, and it was some kind of, like, grainy black and white photo of him. It was the only picture they had of this Carl guy. So we don't know who this guy was. He was some, like, shadow figure out there in the world that
he was an alien.
Okay, I'm not going to go there. So, I mean, well, depending on what your definition of alien is. He wasn't from there, so technically he was an alien. Okay.
That kind of
Okay,
alien.
that kind of alien. No, I don't think so. No.
You don't know that.
Well, you don't know that either. So anyway,
He could have taken Marcus to his spaceship and flown away.
hey, is there anything else you want to say about this movie? I'm starting to get the coughs.
Not really. I'm good.
Okay, good. How about we roll for the next movie?
Do it.
Cool.
And you can use your new 100-sided die.
I'm gonna get there. Okay, so what we do, guys, is we roll dice for our next movie. All right. So we roll 20-sided dice to pick one of the 3 streaming services that we pull from, either Amazon or Netflix or Hulu. And then we roll a 10-sided dice for like the genre, and then we roll a percentage dice or 100-sided die. Your phone died. Sorry. To pick out a movie in that list of that genre. All right. So we're going to roll the 20-sided dice, and let me pull my notes up here, which are where. Gotta see what categories what. Okay, here we go. All right. So I rolled a. Bless you. Rolled a 2. So that means we're going to watch something on Amazon again. All right. And then I rolled a 9. And so that's a fantasy. So we're going to watch a fantasy movie on Amazon. And now I used to roll this to get my percentage. But now, with my new purchase at DragonCon, we're going to roll this.
Oi, look at that big bastard.
Okay,
look at that thing.
Now, this is metal, just like these. So listen. Okay, that just put a dent in my table. That just put a dent in my table. Why'd
you do that?
Because I wanted to prove how heavy this is. They even told me
the table.
The FAA does not allow these in checked baggage on the planes because they say it's a bludgeoning weapon. You can't even put these on the plane because you could bludgeon somebody with them. So I'm gonna roll this. It really, this you just kind of roll it. So I'm gonna roll it over here and see what I get. Oh my goodness! And I got a 44. So
44.
I am going. Yes, Steve. That is the 100-sided die. There you go. Right there.
Oh, yeah. Look at that big bastard. Oh, that thing could do some real damage.
So, I rolled a 44. So, we're going to go over, and I'm going to find the 44th movie in the fantasy section on Amazon. Okay?
All right, let's see what we got.
So, hold on. I'm just going to play my music, and I want to go do my search.
And then play it.
Okay. So, let me go find it. I don't even know how to pronounce this, much less tell you what it is. So the 44th movie, the 44th fantasy movie, or the 44th movie in the fantasy genre on Amazon is a movie called Avane Srimanarayana. Avane Srimanarayana. It is apparently an action western Bollywood movie.
Oh, wait. Western, like cowboys?
Cowboy and Indian, cowboy action western Bollywood movie. So we're going to watch an Indian movie set in the desert with like a bad cop who is a cowboy type. And there's lots of music, so I think it's like Bollywood dancing too.
I could just picture her, a cowboy in chaps.
But wait,
walking bow-legged, then going into full-on Bollywood dance number.
But wait, there's more. It's 3 hours long.
God damn.
It's a 3-hour long Bollywood Western action flick.
This may top Gora if it goes well.
This is going to be interesting. This is going to be quite interesting. So apparently, the next movie that we're going to review for next week is going to be some movie called, and hopefully by next week I'll know how to pronounce it, Avane Shrimanarayana. Somebody pronounce that for me. And you know what, Kurt? He may be in there. Who knows? Why not? At this point, throw Steven in there while we're at it. So, anyway, so that's what we're going to watch next time. It has been a cool thing having folks in the chat with us tonight.
We rarely have anybody in here.
I've really been enjoying that. It's been really cool. So we do this every Friday night at 8 o'clock. I know this is hard.
If we can.
I know a little Steven, do you? Listen, I know this is a hard time slot for people to show up for. I get that, so it's not lost on me that you guys came in and spent some time with us tonight on your weekend, and we really do appreciate it. So next time we'll have another Geek Question for you. We will watch a 3-hour-long Bollywood movie Western or something, and probably have either an awful lot to say or very little to say because we didn't understand any of it. I don't know. And then, of course, we'll have more nerd stuff. We'll be chasing more bunnies in the background, apparently. And hopefully the con crud COVID stuff will be cleared up and gone by then, right? So that's all I got for the show. Connor, you got anything else? Any parting shots you want to say?
Namaste.
Okay, namaste. Okay, cool. So that's all we got for tonight. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys. And we'll see you guys next time on the Gene Pool Variety. And always remember...
Stay nerdy, my friends.
Dance for me, sucker. And I'm going to drink copious amounts of water. Later, Steve. See you, Steven. Bye, guys. Bye, everybody. Y'all have a good night.
Peace.
You're still here? It's over. Go home.